Today we're going to talk about fencing. We're going to take a look at a fence that I put up about 5 years ago. That's done me a good job, but that has two issues. Some people say one of the issues is I use field fence. That's not one of the issues. It's got two problems. And we're going to take a look. I'm going to do two videos. Today's video is going to be about my electric fence, what I did wrong, and I'll show you how we're going to fix that so that it's always a good electric fence, not just sometimes. And the other issue that will be in a second video coming soon will be about a mistake I made putting up the field fence. It wasn't what I put up. I believe in field fence. I still believe in field fence. But it was how I put it up and how I've maintained it that has caused a problem. So a second video is going to take a look at that. But today we're going to look at my electric fence. My electric fence that is not electrified at the time. And as you can see, it's turned off. But even when I turn it on, if you take a look at the meter, it doesn't go up very far. So we need to fix that. That meter should be way over there in the far side of the green, and it's not. And I'll show you why and how to fix it here in just a second. Now, anybody that has looked at putting up a 12-volt battery-powered electric fence, homesteader types that are always frugal, have found that there is one major obstacle to doing that, and that's money. A good battery solar charger fence energizer will run you anywhere from $300 to $400, sometimes even more if you're trying to get one to electrify a whole lot of fence. I'm going to show you how to avoid that. As you can see, I've got a Southern States 12-volt battery-powered energizer. It doesn't say a word about solar panel because it is not solar powered. It is just a 12-volt energizer. It needs a 12-volt battery, a charged 12-volt battery, to make it work. So I have it hooked to a good quality gel cell deep cycle battery. But as you can see from the meter, there's nothing there, even turned on. It's barely out of the red into the yellow. The pig can stick its nose up against that fence and it'll just tickle. The reason being, when you have an electric 12-volt energizer that runs off of a 12-volt battery, you have to keep that battery charged. And I wasn't real good about keeping it charged. Part of it's personal laziness, probably. Part of it's the fact that you can't just leave, it'd be nice to put a trickle charger on it and just leave it there. Trickle chargers don't do well in the rain. And if you leave one out, then you forget and it rains, then you've got a problem because the trickle charger goes out. Trickle charger goes out, your battery doesn't get charged, your fence doesn't work. Now, when I put this up, my intention was to put a solar panel up to keep this battery charged. And I didn't. This system has been set up for about 4 years, and it's done me well until about a year ago. And I burned up a couple of trickle chargers because I got rained on. Kept meaning to actually make this a solar electric fence and put it off. But now I'm going to change it over to a solar electric fence, and instead of spending $300 or $400, and this is a 25-mile charger, 30-mile charger. Instead of spending $300, $400, $500 on a solar energizer, I'm going to show you how to do it for about, I'm under $200, and I'll show you how to do that right now. Okay, the first thing we need to do when you've ruined the battery, like I have, is to get the ruined battery out of the way. So, let's get the battery off. This is a smaller, lighter duty battery, but it's still going to do the job and do it better because of another change that I'm going to make. That I'll show you as soon as we get this battery installed here. Okay, I have replaced the battery, although as you can see I had to do some shade tree mechanicking. Here's a note: when you go to a store you trust that has good customer service like my local Napa store, still always check behind them. To get the wires hooked up, the bolts they gave me to go with the battery were the wrong size. So, for the purposes of this video, I've trimmed down a couple of limbs. Got the wire stuck in there. Got the wire stuck in right there. And jammed the limbs in to get a contact. And here's what we've got. Now, let's turn it on. And instead of being barely out of the red into the yellow, let's see what we've got. We've got an energized fence. All the way over. But have we fixed the problem? No, we have fixed a symptom. The symptom was no fence running because of a dead battery. The problem was the dead battery, and how do we keep it charged without spending a fortune on a solar fence energizer? That's where the next step comes in. The next step is a solar trickle charger. Now remember, you can buy a solar 12-volt energizer for your fence, but you're going to spend about $300 to $400 and more. 30-mile fence like I've got, to get a good quality energizer that has everything built in, you're probably going to be north of $500. So far, we're looking at $109 for the energizer I've got. It's not one of the big name brands, but it's a company that builds for the big name brands. And I believe I paid $104 or $109 for that energizer. I've got a $59 battery plus tax. I think I paid $64 for it total. It's not the best battery in the world, but it's not trying to start a car in freezing temperatures either. It's a battery that if you tried to use it in a car, it'd last a year and a half maybe. And it's not a deep cycle, but then you're not going to be pulling it down because you're going to keep it charged. You're not going to do like I did and let it go dead and then try to charge it, let it go dead and try to charge it, because this solar panel is going to keep it charged up. So if you've got $105, let's say, in your energizer, and you got $60 in your battery, that's $165, then this solar panel, that is a very lightweight trickle charger solar panel, but that will produce enough energy to keep your fence going, and this was under $20, you're at about $180, $190 total. Now, you can forget this, you're not plugging it into your car. This connector comes with it. It's what I'm going to use for today, but I don't like it. Almost everything, except this it seems, these days comes with ring clamps, and I much prefer the ring connector, but these will work. Clamp them to the post. And then you have the solar panel. And the brand on it is Eco-worthy. You've probably never heard of it. I know I had never heard of it, but I did open this and test it before I started this video. Here's what it does. Solar panel is sitting in full sun, and I put my meter on it, and 21.9 volts coming out of that panel. Now, what we have here In the shade, notice, not directly in the sun, not even really aimed in the right direction, even if there was no trees. There's some trimming I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to trim some of these trees. But even without that, in the shade, the panel is putting out, let's see if y'all can read that. Try to get it where y'all can read it. Over 19 volts. 19, well, I can read it. It's 19, bouncing between 19.03, 19.1. What we have now is a solar powered 12 volt 30 mile fence energizer. Now that's not a fair judge of the solar panel. Remember, that battery, brand new, and I just put it on there well into the green. So what do we have? We have a $105 energizer, a $60 battery, and a $20 solar panel. That comes to $185 in my book, which beats the heck out of one of the name brand solar powered fence energizers. Could the solar panel fail? Maybe. I don't think so. They're real simple. And if it does, it's $20 to replace it. So that's an inexpensive way to replace or repair or start from scratch, whichever you prefer, to have an inexpensive solar powered electric fence so that you don't do like I do. Got lazy, didn't keep the battery charged. I had the right idea to start with. An energizer and a battery. Keep it charged. I had $200 in it. It was a good battery. It was an expensive battery. I had more money in that than I've got in what I have now. So, always remember, there's a difference between cheap and frugal. This was a frugal way. And this took care of the fact that I'm a procrastinator and bad about keeping a battery charged. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down there. Tell me why. And I do more of these how-tos around the homestead type videos. I've been a little bit slack on them lately, but I'll be doing more. And if you like the video and you think you like, look around the channel. If you like it, subscribe. Don't forget, hit that little bell. Hit that little bell when you subscribe so you'll be notified of coming videos. Oh, and we also do a live stream. It's always about homesteading, no telling what. Can be fencing, can be livestock, whatever. There's a live stream every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And there's something you need to always remember. I always want all y'all, all my viewers, new ones and old ones alike, to have an awesome day. And having an awesome day is really simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. All you have to do to have an awesome day every day is to remember two things. Remember that number one, the tomb was empty. And remember that number two, he is alive. Now, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.